So I'm honestly surprised. I've got tons of comments about this after I got my new Land Cruiser 250, that there are a bunch of 5th gen owners that are actually looking to upgrade to a new Land Cruiser rather than the new 6th gen 4Runner. So this video is for you guys if you're contemplating the thought of upgrading from your tried and true beloved 5th gen all the way to the new generation of a Land Cruiser. Let's break it down. So even after this video, if you're still on the fence, if you're a 4Runner lover about the 6th gen 4Runner or the new Land Cruiser, guys, you can head over to our forum, 6gen4runner.com. Join in the conversation. It is still in its infancy because we don't know that much information yet about the 6th gen 4Runner, but as it comes out, as people modify it, more stuff, there will be tons of threads over there to help everyone out for their potential purchasing decisions. So let's start with some of the similarities of these vehicles. So both are going to be made in Japan, guys, and both of them have only one engine option. So if you're a fan of the 5th gen 4Runner, you have the 4.0 liter V6 5-speed transmission, and the new Land Cruiser only comes with the iForce Max, which is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder attached to a hybrid 8-speed setup. So the miles per gallon on the 4Runner aren't the best. The horsepower and torque, not the best. However, the powertrain is absolutely bulletproof because it has been around for close to 20-something years now with the 4th gen 4Runner. Over here on the Land Cruiser, it is a brand new platform, but it is in the Tacoma, the new Land Cruiser, and also the new 4Runner as well. Also in some of the Toyota's car models, but the engine has been upgraded for truck duty cycling, giving us a bit more horsepower and torque out of this vehicle, and also a very good improvement of miles per gallon over the 4Runner. And we'll take a look at that 6-cylinder right here, and as you can see, nice hood struts, nice heavy hood, again all made in Japan, so very good quality. Very simple and basic though in here with the 6-cylinder 4.0, battery, fuse box, intake. Whereas when we come over to this Land Cruiser here, again a heavy hood, but I have to set you guys down because for some reason on this very expensive vehicle, $70,000, Toyota has given us a hood strut. Now some people may say, well, hey, that keeps it reliable. Hood struts won't fail, or the struts themselves, we have a prop rod here. Hood struts won't fail on you. Well, guess what? My 4Runner over there is 8 years old and I haven't had an issue with it at all. But we will take a look at a little bit more of the complex engine right here. So no cover on top. Not sure if that's a heating issue or something like that. We do have louder fuel rails up top and makes it kind of sound like a diesel truck or a diesel car, whatever. Here is our hybrid stuff. So you're going to have this little inverter right over there for the hybrid components. It is a physical mechanical hybrid system. So the electronic generator is in between this engine and the 8-speed transmission. Got the box right here, air box. We got the fuse box, and it looks like another fuse box, but just definitely a bit more complicated under the hood of that than the simplicity over here on the 4Runner, of course, too. You know, if you just pop off this plastic cover, it's still not that complicated with the intake manifold right there either. Take a listen to the sound when it closes. Pretty solid. And then over here on the 4Runner, nice and solid. So now looks wise, guys, Land Cruiser is very classic in its own way. It is shared with a global platform of the Prado, but it is a body on frame SUV, full-time 4-wheel drive, which you guys can get in the 5th gen 4Runner, as I believe the TRD Sport is a full-time 4-wheel drive if I'm not mistaken, but I know that you can get the Limited as a full-time 4-wheel drive. However, what the Land Cruiser excels in that is if you are looking for off-roading, is we do have a rear locker and a center locker on the Land Cruiser. If you're thinking about modifications in the future, as you can tell, my 4Runner is a bit more modified, kind of an OEM plus look, but people are already ripping these Land Cruisers apart, even though they've been out just for a couple months now and already doing some pretty crazy builds on them. So we will go ahead and go inside to see how the quality and stuff of a Land Cruiser will be compared to what you guys remember and know on a 4Runner. So the door real quick, pretty solid. Opening it up feels nice and good. And then the 4Runner has tons of soft touch materials all throughout. Nice sturdy handle as well. And a quick look at the interior. Now I have positioned both of these vehicles to my driving position to give you guys both how it is for the rear seat occupants and also for cargo space in the back. And coming over to the Land Cruiser, little more tinny sounding, honestly. And I pull that door handle and I can hear this metal kind of giving me a little bit more noise. But we also have soft touch materials all throughout here, a little bit softer feeling than the 4Runners. And take a close look at our seats. All right, let's go ahead and hop in the Land Cruiser. All right, so when you hop in the Land Cruiser, you have a nice little grab handle right here. You also have the leather trim steering wheel. So going ahead and getting in, and I will tell you right away, these seats in this Land Cruiser are just dummy soft. They are so soft. Nice solid shut with the door. Again, soft touch materials everywhere. I am sweating. It is very hot in Florida right now, but it's a very good driving position for me. My knees feel like I'm like driving a truck. It feels like I'm driving a truck, and with the gas pedal and everything and the brakes, I have a nice seating position, I feel, in the Land Cruiser. I just want to say that because the 4Runner, it's good, but it's not incredible. Automatic steering wheel and stuff, drive lever here. Driving the Land Cruiser, it's very nice, very comfortable. It's got great power for it being a 4-cylinder engine. The 4Runner, on the other hand, a bit more archaic. All right, getting into the 4Runner, you don't have a grab handle right here, but you could use the steering wheel if you want. For me, when I get in the 4Runner, I always just kind of like put my hand on the seat and just get in like this. Very solid door. The 4Runner, guys, is a tank. I just drove it for the first time in a couple weeks again because we took the dogs to the groomers and stuff. And man, the 4Runner is such a tank. But that being said, though, you see kind of my driving position. The way the seat is in the 4Runner, and I'm all the way down to the ground, my legs kind of come up a little bit more. But when I go on the gas pedal and the brakes, it's almost like you're in the 3rd gen Tacoma kind of had this issue. The 4Runner's a little bit better. It's almost like you sit just flat with the floor and you're not at a nice upright position. I also noticed too in the 4Runner, I do have a good amount of headspace. I don't have a moonroof in this one, but the Land Cruiser definitely has more headspace. But everything is just simple in here. Everything is just super simple inside the 4Runner. Big old knobs and everything, physical shifters for everything. It's a really nice experience, and then decent sized console too. Now the big thing is going to be rear seat space. So on the 4Runner, I don't actually have like a little grab handle to come in with, but this is how I sit in the 4Runner. The nice thing too is that you have a recliner, so I'm gonna go see you later and then come back. So both vehicles do have a recliner, but this is me sitting behind myself as a passenger. I have not moved this front seat. I definitely sit pretty high back here. I'm only 5'11". God didn't give me 6 foot, but I feel like I'm like really high back here with my head almost touching the ceiling. Now, here are the dimensions for the rear seat of the 4Runner, and it's still pretty good. I don't have HVAC up here in the headliner. I only have it down here in the center console. But for the most part, if you're only carrying a couple people, it's fine. You can get the 4Runner as a 3-row, and that's even true too with the 6th generation. But the Land Cruiser you can only get as a 2-row. However, the 2-row is a little bit more spacious. And before we hop into the Land Cruiser, I just wanted to show you guys that this has soft touch material all throughout the door. Mine has some red stitching because it is a TRD Pro. Soft tech seats, and again, we just have the HVAC right back here for the rear occupant and nothing up in the ceiling. As I open up the door of the Land Cruiser and the door of the 4Runner at the same time, I feel like also the Land Cruiser's door opens up a bit wider. So this is opened up all the way on the 4Runner. You could tell the angle that it's at. And then this is the door opened up all the way on the Land Cruiser. I feel like the Land Cruiser's door does open up a bit more, and it's also a bigger door for those that may have kids with car seats or just, you know, bigger adults trying to get in and out. Going in onto the Land Cruiser now, we do actually have a grab handle right here to utilize to climb on up in, and you can see I feel like I have a little bit more space. Now this seat actually sits a little bit further back than the 4Runners did for my driving position, but I feel like I have more room back here. I feel at a more kind of natural seating position instead of like very upright and close to the roof. My head is a little bit close to the roof, but keep in mind this vehicle does have the pano, or it does have a normal moonroof. I have HVAC right up here, which is nice. Another grab handle, and this particular Land Cruiser is 3-zone climate control. So as a rear occupant, I can actually control my AC settings back here with how hot or cold I want it to be. I want it to be really cold right now. But here is the Land Cruiser's rear seat dimensions. Now you'll notice that these are less than the 4Runner, and I think Toyota messed up on their website, because when you look at the GX on their website, on Lexus's website, it says that the legroom of that is a couple inches more than the 5th gen 4Runner, and also the headspace is a couple inches more, which I do believe. So I think that Toyota kind of messed up a little bit on their dimensions for the rear occupants of the Land Cruiser, and I would kind of go more off of Lexus's for the GX, which is basically the same interior. And we will get a closer look here at the door. So nice soft touch materials all throughout. This rear seat can also recline just like the 4Runner. As you can see, it is reclined just a little bit. And then here is the 3-zone climate control that I was talking about, and we also have some USB-Cs down there for the rear occupants. And then again, our HVAC up here in the ceiling, which is really nice. But the biggest thing for some is going to be your storage space back here. So the Land Cruiser, it has a pop top, or it has a pop glass right here to open up the rear glass, whereas the 4Runner, we have that classic roll down rear window. But the Land Cruiser, it does in the upper trims have an automatic hatch, which is really nice. And whereas the 4Runner over here, it does, for all 5th gens, have a manual rear hatch. But the nice thing with the 4Runner is that these rear seats will fold completely flat if you need them to. So here's the dimensions though of the rear of the 4Runner. My particular one, I do have a cargo slide, so I do lose a little bit of some height. And then here is the Land Cruiser and the Land Cruiser's rear cargo area. And you do also lose some height too with the Land Cruiser, because again, it has a standard hybrid battery. So we're gonna lose a little bit right here, but we also get some nice storage here up underneath. So now, you know, cubic inches and all that stuff is cool online, but I mean, who the heck knows exactly what that is, right? So tape measure to the back of the seat to right here is 43 inches. And then a height that we have from here down, gonna be, let's just say 31-ish inches down to the bottom. Because of the battery pack, it stops right there at about 31 inches. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the seats down, which to do that, unfortunately, you have to go all the way to right here on the Land Cruiser and pull them down like this. Now they do, as you can see, that seat was back a little bit. So they do tumble forward, which for the US version for us is pointless because no one sits back here. But if we do have the seat down, and then you want to put stuff, you know, kind of at a little bit of an angle to go to the top of the seat, but you can go to the top of the seat right there. You do still have a couple, maybe like a foot or so to the front seat, but from there to the back of the cargo little deck right here is 66 inches. And then for craps and giggles, because all the time too, I'm like, well, how high actually is this? So the load, the flat part of this in the cargo area to the top of the seat is at about 4.5 inches or so. So that's how much this comes up to right here on the seat. Now, whereas over here on the 4Runner, back here, I'm just gonna go to the back of my cargo tray. It's at 41 inches. And then again, keep in mind, I have a cargo tray, so I will measure both for you guys. Should have done this like that over there. It's so much easier. This is at 32.5 inches. So that's actually a little bit more than the Land Cruiser. And then if you didn't have a cargo tray, it's close to about 35.5, almost 36 inches. Now with the 4Runner, it's nice because you can actually fold these seats completely flat if stuff is not in your way. Bring this headrest down. And with my 4Runner, with a cargo tray back here, it is a completely flat load floor. And pardon the dog hair, but we use our 4Runner as the dog mobile, and that's why I have these canvas back cargo liners to protect it. But if we go all the way to right here at the where it hits on the seat to the back, we are at 67 inches and 3/8. So it's honestly kind of crazy how similar these two vehicles somewhat are, but still not at the same time. A lot of people, like I've been saying, have been commenting on my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, saying how they've upgraded from their 5th gen 4Runner to a Land Cruiser, and a lot of people are more happy about that transition than they think that they would be with the 6th gen 4Runner. So I just wanted to highlight some of the main things that would be of concern, like the driving position, the middle seat position, and the cargo area for you guys. If you guys want a more in-depth review of this, just kind of let me know. It's just more of the kind of like the quick hitters and stuff. You know, we could talk about powertrain and everything. The 4Runner, it's just a pig. It is a absolute pig for both miles per gallon and also just how sluggish it kind of feels off the line. However, it is a bulletproof powertrain. The Land Cruiser, it can tow more than the 4Runner. It gets better gas mileage than the 4Runner. It drives better than the 4Runner. But again, it's an unproven powertrain, and the 4Runner starts at very low 40s, whereas the Land Cruiser, to get into the Land Cruiser, you're at about 55. And a Land Cruiser fully spec'd out, you're at about 71, whereas not the first edition, like a Land Cruiser Premium, right? You're at about 69 to 70, whereas on the 4Runner, you're getting close to almost 60 grand for a fully decked out 5th gen 4Runner right now. So money talks, you know, and these vehicles definitely do have a reputation, especially the 4Runner, and that Land Cruiser has big shoes to fill. But guys, I just wanted to do a kind of quick but still kind of breakdown video for you all. Again, if you guys want to see something a little bit more in depth with these two vehicles, just let me know down in the comment section, and I'll make some like short form content about that. But guys, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, see you later.